That is right. Hashtag Dirty South. We are live tonight. Winston-Salem with two Northern brothers. People from Philly, getting ganged up. Sorry about last week, but as y'all say, the wrong team left. But
This is true.
yeah, we have Ray from Philly and Mike O is joining us, and we'll be getting into some stuff tonight with Ray. But Ray, welcome to first time on the channel.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me on.
I seem to just make more. I mean, I've been talking to Ray. Well, we talked 2 nationals ago. Was the first time we met?
Atlantic City, yeah 22.
So, I just keep having Philly friends. So, so be it. And Montreal just tied it up. So, not happy.
The Expos, good. Expos are back.
Yeah, I know. But I was sitting here looking around for my Caps hats. They must be all in my in my closet on my hat shelf. So gave a video like, what's up, Brian? What's up, Carlisle? How do we really know if he's from Philly? So, I had fun casting my baseball card. Well, good. You got Brian Hodges said he casted his votes. That is awesome. So when I usually start out, me and Ray talked a little bit before it came on. I know he pops on in these shows as a watcher, but I wanted to let him know how I handle first time guests. And Battery did his as well. Good. I like to know, I know he collects Phillies, but I want to talk a little bit more about some other things that he collects. I know he's in the registries and stuff like that. I know there's one collection that he's really big on, the 300, correct? Is that the one that you're really big on?
Right.
How does that go for you, and how do you go about? Because that's a tough one. That's got some big cards in it. So how do you go about doing that?
Well, I started that 10 years ago, and that's the 300 Great Baseball Cards of the 20th Century by Mike Payne. And I think I have about 218 right now. I'll never get that set finished. And God knows I've said to myself plenty of times in the past several years, why did I start this set? But it's fun. And it's just it's a cool book. It's a book that was created in, I think, 1999 or 2000. And they made a PSA set registry out of it. So, I started doing that set, and it's a fun set to do, knowing that, I don't think anybody has ever completed that set, of course, because, you have the Honus Wagner Vito 6 in there, and amongst 30 other ones that are completely untouchable. But it's at the point where it's just getting those cards for fun now. And I realized years ago that knowing that I was never going to complete it, I started delving into many other set registries.
Right. So before we jump into those, because I am too. So I not a lot, but I have Gary Carter, Johnny Bench in 1971, the Black Beauty set. But my other question, well, not question, what I like in that 300 collection is some fun cards, the Glenn Hubbard with the boa constrictor and big glove? Is it or my back?
Bavak was in there, that the other club with the big gloves not in there, but Kurt Bavak bubblegum card is in there. So there is some,
yeah.
That was a TV event. That was a live TV event that to show my age here. I watched that on a Saturday afternoon with Joe Garagiola hosting that.
Oh,
I remember that.
Yeah. So, Ray, may I ask how old of a gentleman you are?
58.
Okay, so you got me by a few years, but not much. 5 years, 53 years. So
it should be noted that Ray also collects unopened envelopes. He's a big unopened envelope collector. He's remember old school Big Scott. So old school Big Scott, for those who aren't aware, was he'd buy a box of cards, 24, 36 packs, and he'd stretch that sucker into a month, opening a pack a day.
Me, it's
Ray
here.
has got everyone beat. Ray has a mail day set for like the next 5 years. Like if the world
I'm busy.
ends, Ray will be doing mail days for the
My
next
son,
5 years.
if I, God forbid, passed away tomorrow, my son could continue the channel for 2 years at least. It's a true story.
That is
I
great.
stretch it out.
Is this like looking for registry stuff or just fun things or
Everything? Yeah, it could be
okay?
registry stuff, fun things. Like I'm starting to delve a little bit outside of the registry finally. Like I just
Okay.
the card on Friday from my LCS.
So, do you have a guess of how many registries you're in?
Um, let me take a look here.
Well, you don't have to give me a exact. I was just kind of
Yeah,
I
I could see right now I'm in 66 set registries.
holy smokes. So, do you go ahead and try to find them already graded, or do you? Okay.
Well, for the 300 set, since that's getting really expensive now because I'm in like, golden age cards now in the 50s and prior. I'm trying to find them raw to save a few dollars and then submitting them to get graded. Like I just bought the 41 play ball Pee Wee Reese rookie raw from my LCS and then submitted that and got it graded. So, yeah, you save a couple $100 here and there to get it raw. And at this stage where I'm at now, yeah, I'm trying to look for the cards raw.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. Ray actually completed the 300 gig cards by Mike Payne set 4 years ago, but he hasn't opened all the envelopes.
It's probably true, but not.
Carlisle, that got the best one-liners out there.
He's not far off.
Well, I love like how you got your stuff set up behind you. Great atmosphere there that you have there. So
thanks.
Are there any like set registry outside of the 300 that really jump out at you that you really, really enjoy looking
Yeah,
at?
definitely the post-war rookie Hall of Fame set.
Okay.
Right now, because that starts from 48. So at least I don't have to worry about any pre-war stuff, any Gowdy Ruths or Garrig's or, any of the DiMaggio even or Feller or Gehrig. So at least it gives me a little bit of a shot there. And that's, I think it's.
Or Camp Anson. What's up, Blue Rock?
Is Ed in the room?
No, Ed's not here, but he'll watch it eventually.
Yeah, no Camp Anson. So, it's all post-war, which is really cool. I think there's 118 cards in that set, and I have 100. So that's doable. The only tough ones really is the 51 Bowman, Mantle, and Mays. But, yeah, those are tough, but not like Honus Wagner tough. So you somewhat have a dream chance of getting those.
Nice. Yeah. That I had that discussion on here a few weeks ago about the 52 mantle. And I said, yes, I would rather have the 51 mantle Bowman than the 52 mantle.
Yeah.
Because that is his rookie card. To me, the 52 mantle is just the first ops card. I still am very confused in a hobby why that is the card of cards of any card, but it is, and it's the way it is. So Strawberry is 3D Kids Jam, or so yeah, we got the crew in here tonight. Welcome everybody. Talking with Ray from Philly. If you're just joining us, we will be getting to, I promise, the Hall of Fame talk of cards here in a few minutes. But I always like to know how people hobby, especially when I get a chance. First time talking to them, really delving into how they do things, and keeping stuff in envelopes, that just makes it more fun. Maybe you don't have. Hey, I can just go over here and have a little fun opening and see what I got today.
I do have a few more comments about Ray from Philly too, if we got time.
Yeah, Mike, please.
It's very relevant to the show and some of your frequent guests. So Ray is obviously a collector. He's a little bit of everything. He's definitely a collector. He's not a seller, but Ray is a little bit of a investor of sorts, but hobby related, because among the set registries Ray's involved in, which is a really fun one because Ray is definitely a vintage guy. He loves his vintage cards. He loves his baseball history. He's a true collector and a true baseball fan because he watches the games, like he respects the history of baseball. He loves the Hall of Fame, but he actually, watches modern day baseball as well, which it still baffles me that a lot of people don't. He watches the Phillies. He gets disgusted by the Phillies. He gets sick to his stomach by the Phillies and is able to relieve some of that tension in a group chat with myself and Ed. And we, 3, 4, 5 times a week, complain about how the Athletics left town. But
every night.
But with this being said, my point is Ray does all these registries and a lot of it's vintage, and Ray loves his vintage cards, but he also respects the current game.
What's up,
and one of the fun set registries that Ray's involved in is the future Hall of Famer registry, which I think is a fun one. And that allows you to kind of have fun with speculating a little bit. You can add some guys that you think are going to be added to that registry, some guys who are potentially on the Hall of Fame track that you can get at a cheaper price right now, and you're not really going to lose that much. So I was just wondering if Ray could, we have a lot of other stuff to get to, but just a couple minutes on that registry, because I always think that's a fascinating and fun one.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the future Hall of Fame set registry. I just picked up the Mookie Betts rookie. The 2014 Topps update, and he's one of my favorite players. I'm eyeing the Buster Posey rookie, and I'm eyeing the Aaron Judge rookie right now. That's funny we talked about because last night that's all I was looking at was future Hall of Fame stuff because a lot of these guys I think are really going to get into the Hall of Fame eventually, and it's a good time to get them now. And that's when people were asking me like, how do you know who's going to get in the Hall of Fame? Well, this is one of the ways I do that is how PSA has this future Hall of Fame set registry. Yeah, not all of them are in the Hall of Fame, but it's definitely like kind of a good guide to help you in speculating who who has a shot to get in. But yeah, I mean, I'm a baseball fan, so I definitely love the history of the game. I mean, I make fun of the Ken Burns documentary to Mike and Ed, but I watched that documentary 1,000 times. And I watch a lot of history of baseball documentaries and movies and so forth. I mean, that's pretty much what I do. Like, I can't, what the heck did I watch today? I mean, I watched the Pete Rose documentary, 4-part series today. I mean, I'm always watching some sort of a historical documentary of something, and a lot of stuff I relate to because I know it. But that future Hall of Fame set registry, I love it. I think that Hall of Fame set registry is great.
I have a question on that, a follow-up question. So you're speculating on the player. Are you also speculating on which rookie card is going to be the one, or is it a standard?
No, they have the cards selected in that set registry. So, for example, like the Aaron Judge, they have selected the 2017 Topps.
Okay.
Does he have more expensive cards out there than that? Absolutely. Like for Mookie Betts, they have his 2014 Topps update. He has a Topps Chrome update that's worth more. I mean, these guys have other cards, but PSA I think is trying to get like more of just a standard card in the registry because before I'd say 2010, a lot of their cards are very questionable as the ones they selected in the future Hall of Fame set registry.
I know that's
really questionable
for debate, like in that registry and other registries that are like that, on how they're picking cards. If they leave it up to people that, how are they doing that? So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, I could tell you how they did it before. I mean, years ago, people would make a request. If you had a membership or something with PSA, you could make a request of a card that you felt deserved to be in that set registry. So say, for example, Joey Votto or Zach Greinke, you could make a request for the 2002 Bowman Chrome and make these requests. After a certain amount of time, PSA would collect all these requests from people all over the place. They would get like the 10 most requested cards that they would get in their email and then send that list out to all the PSA members and you would vote on it. Kind of like the same way at my Baseball Card Hall of Fame ballots. It was just, you would select a card.
Right.
And
I've heard of that before.
It was great. I used to love that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I used to get them like 3-4 times a year, and I
So
would
it felt
vote
like
for.
you had a choice in the matter, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it was just based on what people would make a request. I could make a request for any card, and then they would get their most requested cards via email, and then send those out in a ballot. And the ones that got the most votes would get picked to go onto that future Hall of Fame set registry. That is now done. They stopped doing that about 3 years
oh,
ago.
PSA ain't gonna let you have a choice.
PSA now has this Hall of Fame committee, because I called them. I said, how come I don't get emails anymore? They said, we stopped doing that. Now they have a group of a committee that makes their selections. I'm like, well, how are they basing it on now? They said they're kind of going now with just the flagship, like just the tops now.
Right.
So you see, like,
And that's where my heart is. When I get rookies, I always go after rookies. I want Topps flagship.
yeah, the base.
Right. Unless they don't have one. And then,
Right.
then you have to shift. Very rarely since like the 60s do we not have a Topps flagship rookie card for most players.
Mm-hmm.
When Topps first came in with all the who was with who, which, Bowman or Topps, there was some different stuff. But
right.
I digress. And Carlisle is a Murphy fan. He is a Braves diehard. So this might be tongue in cheek, but he still wants to know. He's gonna want to know. He loves Dale Murphy. So have you got the Dale Murphy Philly run yet?
No, what's there, one card?
No, he's got quite a few Phillies cards.
So,
dude, I remember when the Phillies signed him. I remember exactly I have a weird memory. Like, I remember where I was for certain events. I remember when I heard on the radio when they signed Dale Murphy. It was in the summer. I was on my way to a swim club, and I'm getting ready to go get the paper before I walk in the swim club, and I had the sports talk radio on. Philly signed Dale Murphy. I was going nuts because I love Dale Murphy. He was just like the epitome of a good guy and a good ball player.
Yes. I have my earliest memories of baseballs with Dale Murphy when he was with the Richmond Braves. Your memory is that young for me, but still, that's it's I love that guy. Paul C. Let's see. Did I miss something here? Yeah, okay, we got it. I'm back. But yeah, so do you? I know you collect you collect baseball, football, right? Do you collect anything other than baseball cards?
I do some football. I want to get into some basketball cards. I just got a couple of back of Joel Embiid rookies. I have a couple of like Clyde Drexler, a couple of 86 Fleer, but not a lot because there's just so many things I'm trying to complete in baseball. But I really want to do some vintage basketball and some vintage football. Hopefully I could start that.
I've been looking more and more at vintage basketball.
Yeah.
I feel like that is something that's a big hole in the hobby. So that's a place if you're like I'm like everybody else. I want the greats, not necessarily. I don't need every Hall of Famer, but I want Lou Alcindor.
I was just about to say Lou Alcindor. Yep.
Right. I want the greats, and and you can still manage to pick those up at reasonable prices. When within your price range. If you still might need to save up a little bit, but it's still doable. Yeah, it's not like some of the baseball greats where I don't even care about owning, some of those cards. They don't strike me as much as some other players, so that's a story for another day. But outside of cards, do you have any other collections? Do you collect like outside of sports or cards? Do you have any other? Because I found a lot of people that collect.
Yeah,
to collect other things.
Yeah, I got into collecting vinyl albums a couple years ago.
I thought you did. I thought I've heard you say that before.
Yeah.
Or somebody has told me that.
Yeah, I mean, I was a musician for 33 years. I played in the cover band circuit around this area from like 1983 to I quit in 2017. And I have a friend of mine.
What instrument?
Lead guitar.
Oh man, to see Ray play some lead guitar back in
Yeah,
the day,
man.
that would have been
Yeah.
great.
So
What
I
did
have a
I mean? I know you probably played Journey. Was that?
Oh yeah.
I can
Oh
see
yeah.
that's like, I'm not trying to pigeonhole
No,
you,
no,
but
no. I did it all, man. I did like
awesome.
AC/DC, Van Halen, Motley Crue,
Okay,
and then
all
I
right,
did pop rock too, like Billy Joel and
okay,
a little bit everything. I was a cover band, so
right.
we covered whatever people wanted to hear. So I didn't care if they wanted to hear "Row, Row, Row Your Boat." If they wanted to hear it, we try to play it.
Man,
Might
I
not
tell
Can
be
you
you what,
play
good.
that now?
No, no. I stopped in 2017, and I've only picked up the guitar maybe a handful of times since then because it was a lot of work, man. I was getting home at like 2:30 in the morning from gigs, and it was I was getting too old when I hit 50. Holding the Les Paul for like 3 hours a night.
I'm not.
It would take me when it's taking you 2-3 days to recuperate from playing a gig. It's time to go.
No, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, dude, I can't play. My back's hurting me. I'm looking like Quasimodo over here. I was like so
right.
hunched over. I was like, I
Yeah,
can't do this anymore. But so instead of being like a musician, I went from a musician to a fan of music, which is collecting albums. And people are like, "What's a record?" I'm like, "Oh my god, really? What's a record?" They only know maybe CDs and streaming stuff online and stuff. So I went out and bought like my old receiver I had when I was in high school and turntable and a dual cassette deck and speakers and built up my whole stereo system again and started buying, everything from the Beatles to Zeppelin.
nice.
And that's fun. I like doing that. That's a lot of fun
Right.
because I actually can listen to it. You can actually play the record and have fun listening to it. I love hearing the crackling. It's real nostalgic to me. Of course, you can get a better quality sound with a CD. It'll sound 100 times better. But there's just something about putting the record on and putting the needle on the
Well,
record and just
the
letting it
the
blast.
record that's real, man. I
Yeah,
mean, I've always said the record is where the sound is real. Uh, that's kind of what I've always heard, and
cowbell.
I grew up in the record era, the 8-track record era,
Yeah,
and then CDs later, but the record vinyl has made a
huge
huge
comeback.
comeback,
It's been
huge,
about 10 years now, too, that it's made a huge comeback.
and I
There's
mean
shows
people
now, like how there's card shows. Well, there's one coming up on May 10th called VinylCon
really
in Center City, Philadelphia. That we were just talking about that today with my card collecting friends. They also collect vinyl records. They're
right,
getting into it now,
yeah,
so that's fun too. I mean,
yeah.
especially certain pressing releases, and
Right, because I know Eric. Those like pages is
he
into
does it
that.
too. Yeah, he
I
does it
think
too.
Ed plays with it a little bit. We got Joe on here that does that. I mean, music is part of everybody's life
Yeah,
some way. You hear a song, it takes you right. That's the great memory tool. Times of your life. That's why they want to play music and everything because it's such a
yeah,
part of helping with memories. And
absolutely.
and man, vinyl is just awesome right
Vinyl's the shizzle right now. I love it. I mean, to smell the jacket, and it's nothing like pulling out the inner lyrics. Like there was lyrics, like you could read the lyrics of the
right.
album, and then there's gatefolds where they open up, and
Yes.
there's like concert. Like I have tons of Kiss records. Like that was my
Right.
favorite band,
Yeah.
and I have almost all of the Kiss records now. I mean, I think I just reached over a little over 100. I have a friend of mine, one of my friends who's a big time card collector. He's got at least 5,000 albums down in his basement.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
it's
I used
big,
to the only ones I used to pick up was Zeppelin. I used to pick up the Zeppelins, and then
right?
I have moved so much I couldn't keep everything, so I had to get rid of stuff. Yeah, I love the House of the Holy album cover.
Houses of the Holy, yeah,
That was awesome.
yeah.
It opened up. It was just cool. But anyway, I digress once again. You got anything, Micah, before we move on?
No, it's just great having Ray on here. Like I said, he does the vintage, he does some modern stuff, and obviously diverse collector, true collector.
Yeah, we got Reese on here, which is another Philly guy that I hung out at the Philly show that Ray ghosted us on. That, you know, I come all the way up there to hang out with Philly guys.
I was at the one before. I was at the December one,
Oh, okay.
and I want to go to the September one for sure. So
So all the ones that Big Scott doesn't go
Yeah,
to.
when I don't go, but I made it. I've talked about it so much. It's my second favorite show. I usually go to Chantilly in October because it's my birthday weekend, but I might hold off and go back to Philly in that first week of December or whatever. So I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but that's way in the future. That's future Scott's worries and not today's Scott.
is there any shows that you haven't hit yet that you want to hit, like anywhere in the country? Like I want to hit
Yes.
the one in Long Island, the East Coast National one time. I'd like to go up there. I've been saying that for 10 years.
Right. I know that's pretty good. I've seen some videos on that in the past. I really would like to go to the one out in California because
Okay.
for some reason card collecting in California must suck because there's only nobody wants to go out there for some reason. But they have one of the biggest shows.
Yeah.
The National Wall, nobody wants to go out there. But anyway, and then Dallas, of course, even though I think Dallas is starting to cool down a little bit. But yeah, but I also have other collections, so always I'm trying to throw in one video game con every year,
Mm-hmm.
gaming con. So I'm going. Actually, there's one in South Carolina. I'm going to like 2 weeks before the national this year. So I got to throw in one of those. So every year I try to go to a different show somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Zach going to Dallas this weekend. Pretty excited. Hey Zach, tell me what the vibe's about, brother. So yeah, I've been hitting quite a bit. I went to a toy card show Saturday here in a town called Salisbury. I actually went for more of the toys because it was usually when I go to that, there was a bigger show in Raleigh for cards, so a lot of card people went there. It was again a lot of non-sport cards at this one, but I went and bought a bunch of I love Batman 66
Mm-hmm.
series, West. So I bought some of that stuff.
I'm actually surprised I never really got into the comic books. I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
I dabbled in it in the early 90s. I was getting things like Spawn and
Mm-hmm.
some of the TV show ones like Beavis and Butthead and Ren and
Right.
Stimpy and things like that. But I was so deep in the cards, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do another hobby. I
Well,
can't do
I
another.
started. I dabble in comic books. Because I love Batman and I love Justice League. So I dabble in some of that, and also I fall in and out of love with wrestling a lot. And uh, one of the old wrestlers, AJ Lee, and her friend that does TV shows have a comic book that I read. So I
Cool.
still
Yeah, I know
read.
her.
Yeah, so I still read uh, comics. I like the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, he also local radio at Top 9 at 9, so he was ready to record. Yeah, they're talking about recording stuff. You have not recorded until you hold your boombox up to your home radio system and recorded one off the other.
Yeah,
Then
I know what he's talking about.
dubbing back there. that was the way it was done. I'm starting to consolidate my hobbies, realizing I want to go more into other ones rather than some of the lesser ones. Yeah, I have, sadly, what I've had to be smart. I do my ball cards. I have narrowed my focus in ball cards and having so much more fun with that. Then I love my Star Wars, but again, narrowed my focus over there. And I love my video games. Not as much narrowed there, but I can play those games. I have
Mm-hmm.
fun with that. And then Batman, I stick with Batman 66 unless it's something really, really cool that I'm like, gotta, it's not gonna stay there. So
How far do you go back with the video games? Do you have like Atari and?
I have I don't have my original Atari. I gave my original Atari to my friend's dad that was had cancer. His broke, and so I gave him mine with my games. So I don't have my original Atari 2600, but I do have one that's exactly like it, the wood grain.
I had
And
the
then
5200, the one after the
oh yeah, see,
2600.
I skip those and I go to like NES. So I have 30 different consoles right now, and then I'm almost up to 900 games.
Wow.
And
Do you have
yeah,
Sega
so
Genesis?
I have Sega Genesis. That's my favorite cart system, and my favorite disc system is going to be the PS3.
Of course,
Xbox
yeah.
360 is right there with it. That's my
Right.
favorite generation.
Nice.
So, uh, yeah, but I have my PS5 and my Switch over here, so I can stream it through my. I have another channel that I do video gaming on, so
Nice.
that stuff. So, uh, Sailor fan, I still have my parents' original 2600 with the common wood grain panel. Want to get the rare black, yeah, the Darth Vader one, the all black. So that's the nickname of it. It's not actually Darth Vader, but I have the PlayStation, and Sears came out with a model that says home video console or something
Mhm.
that plays Atari games, but it's a Sears system.
Nice.
So I have that one too.
That's
So
cool.
they're all hooked up. Not all of them, but I have almost everything hooked up. I have a old school tube TV. I have two TVs in my spare bedroom,
Right.
HD and a 4K and a old school tube. And then out here I have HD in my living room, and beside me I have
And you can hook
30
up
of
the old vintage games to new TVs today? Do you need like an
you. Some
adapter?
of those you can if you get jumpers, but I
Okay.
have them all hooked up. I got the old school tube TV
Okay.
to
Yeah.
hook
Yeah.
up my whole way. I
Okay.
have everything up to my Xbox OG hooked up,
Nice.
the old school. So
That sounds fun.
yeah, yeah, the heart. Sometimes I get frustrated on what game to play. I don't know what to play.
Techno
But yeah,
Bowl.
so right now I'm just backlogging and having fun with that. I feel like though, and I know Mike has other collecting things too because I'm always looking out for him. I saw something Saturday that I almost picked up, but I I think it keeps everything fresh, right?
Mhm.
When you just leave for a couple of days, a week, whatever, your mind out of that and go into something else just for a little while, and then you come back and it's like, whoo, it's like a fresh air
Yeah.
to me. But because I don't get burned out, but I do enjoy doing other things as well.
Hmm.
But majority of my time is, if you saw my desk, it's
Hmm.
cards. You can see my
Yeah.
wall behind me,
Yeah.
what I do. But uh, that's also Winnie the Pooh. I'm a Winnie the Pooh. I collect Winnie the Pooh stuff. So
That's cool.
Winnie
yeah,
the Pooh, collector, investor, not a dealer though.
that's right. Yep, and I'm not embarrassed about it. So everybody's got to love something. But that's a story for another day too. So now let's get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Like I said before, I was like, "Hey, when does it start?" Yeah, he told me it was 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, "What? I didn't get to notice the email because I always usually get on it right when it comes out. I like to look at the cards and go down memory lane with that uh, and
Yeah.
see, and also it gives me something like, "Hey, I need to pick that up, or see about that."
Right.
Uh, so how many more weeks of this do we have?
The ends May 12th.
Okay.
So I'm going to say 2 weeks from this Tuesday or Monday. 2 weeks from tomorrow is May 12th.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mother's Day
So
weekend.
yeah. So people have 2 more weeks to go on and vote. I did a couple videos on my channel. You can also go to, I have a website, thanks to Adam from Splendid Sports, who created it for me, called www.thebaseballcardhof.com. And if you go on that site, there's a link
Put it.
on top of the site that goes to the ballot.
Can you put it in our chat?
The chat, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mike, have you voted yet?
I have.
I knew you would. Usually, you tell me to, but I have not watched your new opening of baseball cards either.
You ain't missing much.
Oh, really?
No,
I saw it.
actually, it was. I kind of ripped the product at the beginning, without knowing anything about it. And to be honest, it wasn't a bad little blaster. So
I opened up a Blaster of Heritage and I had fun with that. Again, I don't know if they're turning retail fanatics is trying to push people more into the retail and and stuff, but it was I had so much color, couple of chromes in one blaster box. It actually had weight to it.
what was it? Was it a high number or was it
this year's Heritage
2025? Okay.
2025.
No, I was gonna say I know the high number heritage was the retail was pretty strong.
Yeah, I feel like they're carrying that on. I've been talking about. I felt like 2025 product retail has been really really good, but when I watch people open up hobby boxes, I feel like you're getting ripped off for the price. I don't know. I don't know if there's a purpose to that or what, but I feel like retail is strong. The retail is strong with this one. Reese wants to know, when is the baseball card Hall of Fame? I know you're probably working on it.
I'm working on it. Yeah, it's funny. I was going to say that I would like to. I was going to wait until I reached 100 cards. After this year, it'll be 81 cards in the Hall of Fame. But I had Dr. Beckett on my channel last week, and he's like, "Why wait? Like, just get it started now." And so, yeah, I'm actually going to start requesting that be what I'm going to call it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to call it Ray from Philly's Baseball Card Hall of Fame set registry. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. Or just the Baseball Card Hall of Fame set registry. I don't know.
Right. And this. Have you found it being more of a wider? I know you reach out to outside of our click on this community, and are you finding more traction with more people outside of this grouping? That it's hard for me because there's different groups.
There's clicks all over the community. Yeah,
right. And I just wanted to know, is it gaining more traction outside of that? Are you finding?
Outside of not only the clicks, outside of people who don't even have channels,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I have friends of mine that don't have channels, like my LCS owner, who doesn't have a channel, but he knows about it, and he went on and voted today. I was at his store today, and I sent him the ballot through his, Facebook Messenger, and he voted. And I think he's actually going to put some sort of a flyer in his store to have people,
nice.
Like, hey, here's this website. It's for fun. It's a virtual. It's not real, but it's a fun, exercise, to go in and vote on there. And so he's been helping out a little bit. And some of my other friends have been trying to get the word out too, to people. It's not just for people, who have, you don't have to have, because people ask me that, do I have to have a channel? That's a good question. And no, you don't.
Right.
You don't have to have a channel. You don't have to be subscribe to me. You could just, if you catch the video on my channel and you see the ballot link on there, you can just click on the link and go, So
yeah, I mean, it's a fun
it.
website to just click through and look at the cards, and it's like those classes are really solid. Like,
yeah, and most of the time I'm looking at it and I'm like, you can't go wrong, right? It's like, I mean, yeah. So, are you finding more people like ask like, are you voting for the player opposed to the card, or is
Yeah,
it the familiarity of the card, or are we voting on the card itself and importance to the hobby? I
I
mean,
get asked that question all the time because people like I'll have people on my channel and they're making their selections, and I'll get people posting like, so what is this based on? Value? Is it just the value? And I'll try and say no, it really isn't, because there's cards in the Hall of Fame already that really aren't that valuable. It's really just about the card. The player obviously helps who it is, but I mean, there was cards on the ballot like that Glenn Hubbard snake card and the Mackie Hatcher big glove card, and it
right,
didn't do that well. They got bumped off, but still, I mean, it is about the card. It's about the popularity of the card, not so much the rarity. It's pretty much a lot of everything in the consideration. It's the popularity of the card, the rarity of the card. It could be the player also helps out. It could be the value of the card. It's a little bit of everything,
right,
But what I'm trying to get people to also look at is there's a lot of young people out there that might only be familiar with the Trouts and the Pujols and the Miggy Cabreras and stuff like that, and you know, uh, they might not know who Christy Mathewson is or Walter Johnson is.
right,
So it's also something that, for them to go back and look at it and learn about, because I'm a big history buff when it comes to the game. And it's about learning about the player and going back and like, who's this, so and so, who's this Trish Speaker, and who's this Cap Anson?
that's right,
and, and learning about that might change their mind about, what, I should vote for this card based on what the significance of what this player has accomplished. But like I said, it's really not about the player and what he accomplished. It's the card. So there's a lot of guys in there that aren't even in the Hall of Fame. Like there's Thurman Munson's 71 tops card, that he's
right.
not in the Hall of Fame. Billy Ripken's in there. He's not in the Hall of Fame. So it really is about the card. I try and tell
Like,
people it's about the card.
so my other question. So when you say that, I heard you. I got several follow ups after that. First off, you said to get bumped off. So are you running us like the real Hall of Fame to have a certain percentage points to stay on the ballot?
Not percentage points, but it's right now there's 40 cards that go onto a ballot each year. The top 10 get voted in. And then the bottom 5, so cards that are 36 to 40 get bumped off. So that means 10 getting in, 5 are getting bumped off, and that's 15 new cards each year get put on the ballot. And this year, for the first time, I did a pre-ballot poll before I actually started this year's ballot, because I didn't want to be the one to pick the cards, because I tried to have a committee before, and there's still so many different opinions on what cards should be on the ballot that I
Right.
figure I'm just going to leave it up to the people. And I did a pre-poll ballot 2 weeks before the actual ballot this year started, and just saying, give me a suggestion, email me, go to the website and click on contact me and make your request, or put a comment down below this video. And, I got probably a little over 100 emails requested to me of cards that they would like to see. And then I just went in and picked the top 15 cards that were requested to me that went on the ballot, because I wanted to make it about what the people wanted. I didn't want people to say, well, why'd you put it on here? I made it about the community and let them
Right.
pick the cards.
So now I got another question after
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Go ahead,
So
man. Yeah.
how interesting was that to see what other people thought should be on the ballot? Man,
It
that
was
had to be very interesting.
very interesting. Like when I first started this, there was no ballot. When I first did this, I was just asking people to select a card, and I was
Right.
getting cards like an '82 Donruss Rick Camp. Like, come on. Like, I know people were joking around. There had to be some substance to it, so I tried to make it a little more stricter and create a ballot and just select from those cards on the ballot. Because in the beginning,
Right.
I was literally getting 300 different cards, voted each year. And I was like, I can't keep up. So yeah, I wanted to keep it as a ballot and try and get it as close to the actual baseball Hall of Fame as possible. Um, and then the requests were coming in this year, and it was definitely um, more of a real pick of cards where people were emailing me. It wasn't like really obscure nostalgia cards, like I wasn't getting cards that were like funny cards, like the KGB chicken card or something like that.
Right.
People were actually taking it for serious, and they were giving me all good suggestions. You know, and it was good because I felt like it was more of an interactive thing that people had a part in what they said,
Right.
what they felt like should be on the ballot, rather than me just making the selection for it. So I was a little worried at first. I was going to get bombarded with a lot of like really kind of weird cards, but it wasn't really that way this year. So it was cool. And that
Right.
it was just like people were really requesting some cards that I didn't even know about myself, that it totally blew my, like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I was like, that's a
Right.
cool one.
Now, do you lean yourself? And this is for you as well, Mike. Do you lean towards sets, importance of sets in the hobby, or players in the hobby, or a certain player card in the hobby? Like, we know how important 52 tops is in the hobby, right? It's the kickoff. 51 tops got them in, started. 52 tops was, here we are, Bowman. We're going to take your milkshake. Um, so we know how important that is. And I know that's why the Mickey is the Mickey. But is there other sets that are comparable to that in your mind? And what's the player that would be in that set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do
Yeah,
you look at the player and then that makes the set important after that?
yeah. I mean, obviously, after the tops of Bowman cards from the late 40s, early 50s are really represented in there well, and Tito 6 and Cracker Jack and Gowdy cards. So yeah, the set definitely has a prominence in how people are selecting the cards. But I've been getting people asking, they want to see that player, but on a different card, like a food and beverage card,
Mm-hmm.
like Stallmeyer's or Red Heart or Dandy, whatever. And
Burger Chef?
Burger Chef,
Yes.
the 1979 McDonald's San Diego Padres, which actually is a really cool card. Ozzie Smith has a cool rookie card in that set, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean that, and that's why I presented a pre-poll ballot this year about how many do we want to expand having more than 5 cards from a particular player, because
Right.
I didn't want it to be the Mickey Mantle Hall of Fame or the Hank Aaron Hall
Exactly.
of Fame or the Babe Ruth Hall of Fame. And I really, really thought, because last year a lot of people were PMing me and posting, oh, you need to have more than 5 on there. And I'm like, well, I'll present it to everybody before next year's Hall of Fame. I presented it. I really, really thought that it was going to be an overwhelming vote to say yes, increase it from 5, and it was no.
Yeah.
People are like, leave it at 5. I was like,
Yeah.
blown away by that. I was like, wow, really?
I would have said no too. Because, like, one of my favorite sets is the Hires root beer. I was so happy to get a Yogi from my friend down below uh, with the tab, everything. Um, that's one of my favorite cards. I love food and beverage. There's a story behind that as well. But that's a huge card to me, and I don't know who else would be in there, but I would love. What is it? And there's plenty of y'all here that are going to get me straight. I like the hot dog one that's in the top corner
Wilson.
as well. Yeah,
Wilson
and
Franks.
I'm trying to find a catcher in that set as well. But that's I find the set and then I try to find a catcher I like in the set. So I did that in the stand-ups and all kinds of different things.
Yeah, well, for
So
like example, like Mantle's got a lot of food and beverage cards that are iconic
Mhm.
cards. Like he's in the Stallmeyers, and he's in Red Heart. But I'm
Yeah.
like, it's going to be just 20 Mickey Mantle cards. So with Carlisle Rue just asked me, are you considering sets? I think that's a way, and that's been asked me for about 2 years now to do sets. And I'm definitely considering to do sets. This way,
The set wing of the hall.
yeah, there would be like, you have Red Heart on the ballot and Dandy 50, and that particular year too, not like just all dandies, like the
Now,
58 Dandy or Bazooka,
was
and
Red
doing
Heart
that.
in the bag, or did you mail that in? Did you have to mail to get that card back?
I think so.
Because I have a showing dice. If I'm not saying that right,
Shane
Red
Dienst.
Heart. Shit, yeah, okay. I have that, and it's so. It looked like my dad balled it up in a ball, threw it against the wall 48 times, let the dog kick it around, and then he
Yeah,
unfolded it.
it was a mail
So
order. It was a
okay,
mail order. Yeah.
Shane Dees, thank you, Battery. Yeah, I knew y'all would set me straight. I know he's a
Yeah, it's
great,
Shane
great,
Dienst. Yeah.
yeah, great player. Uh, yeah, so that's I was just that curious because you kept bringing it up, and that's another card that I really like. The milk bone cards, all the ones for dog foods. I find that interesting.
I
Anything,
love Red Heart. I love Red
yeah, red
Heart.
hearts are beautiful cards.
Yeah.
That's another one I like to find a catcher in.
And Mike just got a seal test. There's more local, like Richie Ashburn has a 49 seal test card, which was an ice cream
Right,
company back in the day. And yeah, I mean these cards are really awesome. They're like you mentioned the Hires root beer. I mean, there's some. I mean, I'm really going to be considering doing sets in particular years of a separate wing. Definitely, I think that's.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
didn't think there would be enough sets, but there's enough sets.
right.
there's a lot of amazing sets and throughout the years and just different
91
ones.
Fleer boy, number one.
And I wouldn't do 10 sets like I do 10 cards because I would be done in
Right,
10 years. I would
right,
literally just do a percentage. If only one set got in that year, then that's it. That's all it's getting in.
right.
This way,
It's got to be a hard haul. It's got to be
yeah,
like,
that'd be a real hard haul.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, my guess is Tito 6 probably gets in the first year, but you never know.
Yeah, yeah. I like T206s, but they are not. I don't eat when it's people start talking about favorite sets. For me, I don't. I probably wouldn't even have that listed, but that's me.
Hmm.
Reason why is because I hate small cards, but
Right.
I love the history of it. I love the whole idea that men sat in smoke rooms, smoke houses, throwing them out on the walkway, and the kids running up and grabbing them off of the walkways,
Right.
is what happened. And then families put them in their family albums. That's why they got paper loss.
Right.
So, the stories is what makes it for me for that set.
Yeah, and that's the same goes for a lot of these cards as to why they're on the ballot. It's like, well, this
Mhm.
guy's a terrible player, or why is it? Because there's a story behind that card,
Right.
like the 52 tops Andy Pafko. I'm like, it's a story. There's a story behind. He's card number one. He's in the iconic 52 top set. I mean, there's certain cards like the Billy Ripken with the error card. That's a storied card.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, those sets are stories. There's certain sets definitely to have stories.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. That's, and that's the great thing about them. Yeah. The Mother's Cookies.
Yeah, that's a
It's
great one
just,
too.
yeah.
Johnston Cookies is great.
Yeah. My childhood, I am a fan of Drake's. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
What year?
So, I don't know. So, because I get confused.
I
So,
have like 80, I think 80, 81. I have like almost all of the early 80s.
I bought a set from my man Mike below me. And the best thing about it was still in the box.
Yeah, I love that
Open it
set.
and getting that smell of that era of baseball card.
Yeah.
People laugh. And I'm like, there's just something about that. It just
Yeah.
took me right back to being a teenager at 7-Eleven. It's just what it,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember getting them on a Saturday afternoon when my mom and dad would go food shopping,
Hey,
and I would go scouring through the shopping bags. I'm going like this. Where's the drinks? And
Yes.
inside the box, they weren't in the box where you had to cut them. They were inside the box, so that was cool. You didn't have to cut them. There you go.
Doctor Exclusive, this is how my last pack of cards came from Sweden. Already opened, tore. I think they tried to machine it, and I got a package saying sorry from the United States Postal Service with none of my Swedish cards, and I was mad because it had 2 Batmans in there, a Star Wars card, and a bunch of pinups from the '60s, pinup cards.
Right.
So I was a little upset. Oh, Cap just scored.
Yeah, Hank Aaron has a 54 Johnston Cookies card. He has 2 rookies, the Tops and the Johnston Cookies.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for food, and because there was a time in my life that I used to look through. We didn't have all the money in the world, so I looked through all the different. If it had a card on it, I had the whole set of the macaroni and cheese, cracked macaroni and cheese, Duracell cards. You need batteries, right?
Yeah, I just bought this one drink. When you mentioned 7-Eleven, there was a drink in the early called Squirt.
Yes.
And I just got the first Squirt set, and they're real long. They have the round circle because they would go on the bottle, and I'm still trying to find sheets to put them in because that's it. I have the whole first set, and I want to get the sheets to put them in.
Yeah, that was the only way I could find to put them in. And I display them because I love that type of thing.
Yeah.
I got the one with Carlton Fisk and one with just Gary Carter on there. So, so that's very happy to have those. They're not to find them intact. They don't even have the holes punched out. Which if you bought the set, you're probably the same way.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy that when I find stuff like that.
Right.
So like I said, I got the Burger Chef box of Montreal players that was never used. So I got that. So I love that type of stuff.
Me too. I don't think there's a bad looking food and beverage card out there. I mean, I can't think of any. They're all really, even the
I don't know.
in the 70s and 80s, they look great.
Long John Silver's, I think, had a really plain looking card one year. Almost looked like a small poster card, maybe.
Right.
They were very plainish, but Denny's always had nice cards.
Yep.
You got different, and then you wonder why I'm fat. That's just how it is. But yeah, so we need to go. What was the name of that website again?
www.thebaseballcardhof.com.
The baseball card. Oh, that's very simple.
And you can vote really quick. So, I mean, why wait?
Let's see. Let me jump on there real quick. Baseball card HoF.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at the cards the way they look, the set, the impact of the set, the impact of that player, the impact of that specific card. Like there's cards in there, obviously, that are in there already. Some of the iconic Mantles and Jackie Robinson's, a card like the 89 Griffey. Like it's like a no doubt about it. Like, so it's fun to see. Now that we're 8 years in or something?
Yeah, dude, this is year number 8.
So now it starts to get even more interesting because some of the locks, of course, are in now. So,
and I've been very, very seriously considering changing the format next year of lowering the amount that are getting in because I didn't want to dilute it and start watering it down, and possibly changing it to an eras, like just doing 1880 to 1950 and then doing 51 to current day or just lowering the amount of cards that get in. People suggested a percentage, but in the beginning I couldn't do a percentage because wasn't getting enough votes. So if I wanted to do like how the Baseball Hall of Fame does 75%, that was not going to happen because back in the day I was getting like 50, 60 votes a year. And last year I got 914 and I'm hoping to crack 1,000. So now if I could consistently get that many votes, then maybe I can change it to a percentage, making it a lot tougher to get in, therefore stretching this out longer and not diluting it at the same time. Because I think, 10 the first few years was okay. But when I get past like year number 10, 11, 12, I don't know if I want to keep doing 10 cards a year. It's just going to get like any cards in there. So I'm considering doing some change next year. Again, I'll probably do a pre-poll ballot and leaving it up to everyone else or what, but I don't know if I'm going to do it as an era. I liked how the Baseball Hall of Fame years ago, recently, they had 4 errors. Now, I don't know if I want to do 4 errors. They lowered it to 2 errors, which I think is bad. It's
I
not.
thought you
It's
had a link on your channel to it, right?
Yeah, we're on the top. Right on the top, it says "Vote now." Click here. The baseball card, HOF.com, on the very top of the home page. It says "Vote now" on the 2025 Baseball Card Hall of Fame ballot. Click here.
I don't see it, and
Really?
I'm on your home page.
Of the website?
No, I'm on your channel
Channel?
because I couldn't get to the web.
Oh. On my channel, it's on the video that 4 videos ago, I want to say, dated. Let's see. What's the date of it?
Oh, okay. I think I see it now.
It's the one that's dated 13 days ago. It says 2025 8th Annual Baseball Card Hall of Fame ballot. And then in the link below, I think it's the first link.
All right. So here we go. Make sure I share it on screen so I don't get kicked off of YouTube. Let's see. There we
We're
go.
getting a live voting.
Oh, it's got a Gmail. How long ago it's on here? I have my Gmail account on this thing. Pick only 10.
If you vote for
There
Cap,
is
Wesker's going to try and cancel you.
Yeah, if you're going to pick Cap, I would do it off air. Don't do it
I
on there.
love this triple folder. Love those.
Yeah, you know what? Apparently, I had put the wrong triple folder on there.
Uh-huh.
This one is with it's Cobb, and who's the other one? I can't remember. I can't see the other name. It's not Jennings.
You
O'Leary.
just got Cobb on here.
Well, on the right's Cobb. On the left is another player, and I think that's
Okay.
O'Leary.
If you say so. You don't have anybody. You just says Ty Cobb.
Yeah, it's mainly Ty Cobb, but there's
Right.
another triple folder one out there. Let me see. I'll tell you in a minute. That everybody was saying, "Oh, that's the wrong triple folder. There should be the other one."
I just
That
picked this Jimmy Fox up raw not too long ago. I like this Jimmy Fox just because in this picture he looks like the kid from The Sandlot. the catches in The Sandlot.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna vote for Campy. How many do I get?
10.
10. Okay,
Yeah.
I got my 3.
And everybody says the same thing. Like they go through at the beginning, and next thing you know, before they even get to the 60s, they already picked their 10. And they're like, "Oh man, I got to go back."
Ted Kluzinski with his shirt off. Is that okay? Now I see why everybody was yelling for that one. Oh, Monty Irvin, Whitey Ford, Drysdale, Maris.
Ed Westbrook Griff says you have to vote for the Carlton rookie.
You know I got to vote bench, right?
Yeah.
This right here.
Even though bench is already in the baseball card hall because his best looking card got in.
Yeah, the second one.
second year card is I like that one. I voted for that one. But I got to vote for Kyle because this card right here is huge down here where I'm at. It is.
Let me tell you, I was telling Dr. Beckett and other guys last week, I'm like, the past several months, this card's been literally in the news. The orange
Cal
Ripken. Yeah, because it's been selling at astronomical levels now. There's a blue one, but the orange one is just like off the charts now.
I got that guy. He sucks, but I got to vote for Frank. This right here is iconic. Michael Jordan. And also, this is iconic. Mariano Rivera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got one more.
You got one more.
I got one more. Look at that. Really like that Hank Greenberg. I like the Gowdy. Play ball. That is not my favorite. I like the exhibit. I think I'm going to have to go with Seaver's rookie is what I want to go. Just because great Met, great person. And there we have it. Boom.
There you go.
Just that easy.
A live vote. Yeah. Takes 2 minutes. I mean, it could take longer. I mean, a lot of people go back and forth and they change it. And, because like I said, so many people are like, oh, this is so easy. And then they pick their 10 and they're like, they're not even up to the 1960s yet. And they're like, oh, I got to start over. I got to go back because this 67 Seaver or this 70 something are like, oh, I got to go back and start over again.
So let's let me copy it better, paste it. Yeah, there we go. And I will put it in the comments below, the same link.
Cool. Thank you.
To link this to people that watch afterwards. I want to thank Ray. You got anything else you want to put out there, Ray, before we take off tonight?
No, just, make sure you go out and vote and have fun with it and check out the website.
Thing. It's to have fun with it.
That's what I end my every video is just to have fun with what you're doing with this hobby.
So later when I have Ray pull mine back and I go back and vote for Cap Anson, it's just for fun.
Go ahead. I'm not looking. I didn't.
What were you going to say, Mike?
That's okay.
No, I was just going to say, and even if you're not crazy familiar with some of the certain sets because you are a newer collector or you tend to be a little you can learn a lot, and you'll learn, you'll just learn about different sets or different players like Ray was talking about and the evolution of the hobby. Because the more you know, the more you can appreciate different sets and evolutions. Because a set I've been thinking about during the show, to me, because you were talking about some favorite sets before, and I think some of my favorite sets are 51 Bowman, 53 Topps. Another one of my all-time favorite sets, 1993 Topps Finest, to me is one of the all-time great sets in card history. It doesn't get a lot of chatter about it because everyone kind of goes back to the old school sets more so. But 93 Finest, one I think is a absolutely beautiful card, and it's the beginning of refractors. So maybe in the future I'll have to find a way to nominate some Hall of Fame refractor from that set. What's
the card in that set, Mike? Is it the Griffey or the Bonds? That's the biggie.
They're both. Yeah. High grade refractors, we're talking big money. Yeah. Because there's only a couple hundred of those refractors or so was that print run. But I mean, it's hard to believe that 93 Finest is, a 30-year-old set.
32-year-old set.
Beautiful set. And not only in baseball, in all sports, they made that. It's Topps changed the game with that set. So
Yeah,
beautiful etching.
that definitely is the start of the refractor era.
Yeah.
That set.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to let y'all go tonight. Again, Ray, thank you for coming on. This was a very knowledgeable night, not only learning about baseball cards, but learning about Ray a little bit more, which, you know, learning about people in this hobby and is great. And also, thanks again, Mike, for coming on, friend of the show. And until next time, please hit the thumbs up for this one. Will mean a lot. And comments below for anybody here. And also, please subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, see ya.
Peace.